Hello and welcome back to Curiosity's Compass. Throughout history, moments of great significance often stem from seemingly small actions. These pivotal instances demonstrate that transformative change doesn't always require grand gestures or sweeping movements. Instead, sometimes it's a single idea, a brave decision, or a small act of defiance that can ripple outward and alter the course of history. Here we present 3 examples where minimal actions led to monumental impacts. Each case highlights how minor yet decisive actions ignited profound changes that benefit society in unimaginable ways. The introduction of the smallpox vaccine in 1796. In the late 18th century, smallpox was a rampant and deadly disease. It had plagued humanity for centuries, causing widespread death and suffering. The disease was highly contagious and often fatal, leaving survivors with debilitating scars. There were limited treatments available, and the practice of inoculation was risky and often ineffective. Edward Jenner, an English physician, is credited with one of the most groundbreaking contributions to public health. In 1796, Jenner made a simple yet revolutionary observation. He noticed that milkmaids who had contracted cowpox, a disease similar to smallpox but much milder, seemed to be immune to smallpox. This observation led him to hypothesize that exposure to cowpox could provide protection against smallpox. Jenner decided to test his hypothesis. He took material from cowpox sore and inoculated a young boy named James Phipps. The boy developed a mild illness but did not contract smallpox when exposed to it later. Jenner's experiment was a success. This seemingly small act of medical innovation led to the development of the smallpox vaccine. Jenner's work laid the foundation for modern immunology. His vaccine was the first successful attempt at controlling an infectious disease through immunization. The impact of Jenner's discovery was profound. The smallpox vaccine became a crucial tool in the fight against the disease, eventually leading to the global eradication of smallpox in 1980. This achievement is considered one of the greatest triumphs in public health. The vaccine not only saved millions of lives, but also set the stage for the development of vaccines against other diseases. Jenner's work demonstrated that a simple idea, rooted in keen observation and experimentation, could lead to monumental improvements in human health. The smallpox vaccine's success underscored the potential of medical science to address and overcome serious public health challenges. Our next example is the publication of Silent Spring in 1962. In the early 1960s, the widespread use of chemical pesticides was causing significant environmental damage. While these chemicals were effective in controlling pests and diseases, their negative effects on wildlife and ecosystems were becoming increasingly apparent. However, the environmental consequences of pesticide use were not widely recognized or understood at the time. Rachel Carson, a marine biologist and writer, played a crucial role in changing this narrative. In 1962, she published Silent Spring, a book that meticulously documented the environmental and health hazards associated with pesticide use. Carson's writing was both scientific and accessible, making complex environmental issues understandable to the general public. She highlighted how pesticides were contaminating air, water, and soil, and how they were harming wildlife and disrupting ecosystems. Carson's book was not just a scientific critique, it was a powerful call to action. She advocated for more rigorous testing and regulation of pesticides and for a more environmentally conscious approach to pest control. Her work was met with significant resistance from the chemical industry, but it also resonated deeply with the public and policymakers. Silent Spring had a monumental impact on environmental policy and public awareness. The book is widely credited with sparking the modern environmental movement. It led to increased scrutiny of pesticide use and contributed to the eventual ban dichlorodiphenyltrichloroethanian in the United States in 1972. Carson's work also played a key role in the establishment of the Environmental Protection Agency in 1970. This agency was tasked with regulating pollutants and protecting the environment. The legacy of Silent Spring extends beyond environmental policy. Carson's work demonstrated the power of informed advocacy and the potential for a single voice to influence change. Her single book has inspired future generations of environmentalists across the globe. The book's impact illustrates how one person's dedication to a cause, expressed through written words, can lead to significant and lasting change. Our last example is the Montgomery Bus Boycott in 1955. In the mid-20th century, racial segregation was deeply entrenched in the American South. Public transportation systems, including buses, were segregated, with African Americans required to sit in designated areas and yield their seats to white passengers. This system of racial injustice was a symbol of broader societal discrimination and inequality. On December 1, 1955, Rosa Parks, an African American woman, made a seemingly small but highly significant decision. Parks refused to give up her seat to a white man on a segregated bus in Montgomery, Alabama. Her act of defiance led to her arrest and became a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement. In response to Parks's arrest, the African American community in Montgomery, led by figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., organized a boycott of the city's bus system. This boycott was a strategic and collective action designed to challenge the unjust segregation laws and highlight the economic power of the African American community. For over a year, African Americans in Montgomery avoided using the buses, opting for carpools, walking, or other means of transportation. The Montgomery Bus Boycott had a profound impact on the civil rights movement and American society as a whole. The boycott placed significant economic pressure on the bus company and the city of Montgomery, demonstrating the effectiveness of nonviolent protest and collective action. In December 1956, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that segregation on public buses was unconstitutional, leading to the desegregation of Montgomery's buses. The success of the boycott marked a turning point in the struggle for civil rights. It not only demonstrated the power of grassroots activism, but also elevated Martin Luther King Jr. as a prominent leader in the movement. The boycott inspired similar efforts across the country and contributed to the broader push for civil rights legislation and social change. Rosa Parks' refusal to give up her seat was a small act with enormous implications. It highlighted the capacity of individual courage and collective action to challenge systemic injustice and foster significant societal transformation. These three examples illustrate how seemingly small actions can lead to monumental changes. Each of these instances involved individual or collective decisions that, though modest in themselves, had far-reaching consequences. Jenner's vaccine laid the groundwork for modern immunology and led to the eradication of smallpox. Carson's book ignited a powerful environmental movement and reshaped public attitudes toward pesticide use. The Montgomery Bus Boycott demonstrated the impact of nonviolent protest and contributed to the broader struggle for civil rights. These moments in history remind us that significant change often begins with small, deliberate actions. Whether through scientific innovation, persuasive writing, or courageous defiance, individuals and groups have the power to effect profound and lasting improvements in the world. The legacy of these actions continues to inspire and guide us, demonstrating that even the smallest efforts can make a monumental difference. Thank you for joining us here on our journey today. If you liked what you saw, please hit those buttons and bells. See you next time, and remember, it only takes one spark to ignite a fire.